Morning civics. I am just at the board office getting ready for my PD, and I wanted to give you a short video about the zombie assignment just in case you didn't understand. So I'm just going to find it. That's not it. Raise. There we go. I need to learn how to name my things. Okay, so you have your civics assignment, and there are extra copies on my desk, so you can ask your supply teacher if you need. And basically what you should be doing is thinking about the questions that are there. I would suggest divvying them up, and that's why I put the lines here. What will the group need to survive the initial weeks after the attack? So what do you need to make sure that you're going to survive immediately? Make sure you read what we read together about the observations you've made in the population. That will help you make your decisions. How will your needs be met? How will the tasks be carried out, and by whom? So this is when you start making groups and figuring out who's doing what. Your population is here on the document. How will decisions be made? Okay, so this is where you're talking about leadership. Is there going to be one leader, many leaders? You guys are familiar with how the world works and various leadership options. So decide who's going to be the leader, or which people are going to be the leader, and how will they be chosen? How will that decision be made? Decision-making methods. How will your group decide? So let's say someone has some sort of infectious disease. How do you decide what you're going to do with that person? What's the decision-making method? Do you vote? Do you just follow whatever the leader decides? What's your decision-making method? Rules and laws. So I want you to come up with 5 and justify why you chose those rules over anyone else. And how will you be enforcing those rules? So if someone breaks those 5 rules, what happens to them? Are there penalties? Who makes sure that gets done? All that good stuff. So those are the first 6 questions. What I'd like you to do is jot down your answers on a piece of paper, because this is kind of the backbone of your survival. The last bit there are 3 questions about going forward and not just getting through the toughness. What you need to do is you need to make sure that you're thinking long term. So number 1, select 5 additions you like to add to your community. So maybe that might be like a roof garden, so you can sustain fresh food, or maybe Hillcrest has a greenhouse, and maybe getting that up and running would be a good idea. Outline 5 new challenges. So there's about 1,000 people at the school. What are some challenges that you think you might run into in the next few years? And do you think the decision-making system will stay the same as you created in your crisis zone, or do you think that it might change over time? So you're going to be talking about these as a group, but being responsible for yours specifically and making sure they're nice, and then decide how you want to present that information. So it might be on a Google Doc, or it might be in a Prezi, or it might be in a video. I don't really care. But you have today and tomorrow to work on that with the netbooks that I've signed out for you. So if you have any questions, your teacher has a Google Doc. I'm just going to go back to my drive so I can show it to you here. Your teacher has a Google Doc, which I'm going to have open over the next couple of days while I'm away. And if you have any specific questions, the easiest thing to probably do is to put them in the Google Doc. And that you could email me, but then no one else in the class is going to see that email. So that doesn't really make sense. So what I'd like to do is put them in this Google Doc, so then if you ask a question, then everyone else has access to the answer. So for example, I've got one for civics here. Are zombies a viable means of food? I.e., can we eat the zombies to survive? If you had that question, that was really, really important that you got the answer. You could put this in the question box, and then I would respond back, no, if you eat a zombie, you become a zombie, so consider scouting the fridges of houses in the area instead. Okay, so then not only does your group know that zombies are not a viable means of food, you will also be sharing that information with the rest of the class, like we would be doing if I was actually there. So I think that's it. I hope that you have fun and have a great weekend. And if you have any questions, put them on the Google Doc, which your supply teacher has access to.